Looking to replace
the east and doing that damage. All right, let's go to our elite storm chaser, Derek Massengale. This is his live feed here. Let's find out where Derek is and what he's experiencing. Good afternoon, Derek.
Hey, Brett. We're actually sitting still at the KWTV High School, junior high and high school. There's more damage. There's another building that the roof, all of the shingles have been sheared off of the top of the roof.
All right.
That's just on the west side of the high school complex where the junior high is. All of the shingles are gone off the roof.
Wow.
And this part of the roof has been completely peeled back that we're streaming right now. And there's debris actually from the other side of the road, parts of the metal roofs from the other side, which would be the north side of 51.
For the east, let me switch computers here. I'm going to do an updated track as this line of storms continues moving to the east. Now, in Tulsa, we have one more band of heavier rain that's getting ready to move in. It's just not severe. It does have some lightning in it, so stay indoors for that. But our main severe weather threat and really what we're zeroed in on, tracking the leading edge of this line of storms, and it is a beast with these really strong winds. Sweeping east, here's the track over the next 30 minutes, moving into Fort Gibson, Peggs, Hulbert, Braggs, Woodall, Tahlequah, Scraper, and Eldon and Cherokee County. So if you're on a lake, Lake Fort Gibson, Lake Tenkiller, you need to be off that lake. It's hammering Fort Gibson right now, and as it continues to move to the east, it looks like the strongest winds may stay just to the south of Spavinaw and
spread damage as that continues to work its way on towards the east. Now I'm going to throw it back to Alan for a minute, and I'm going to reposition the radar and take a look at areas a little bit further south.
You go ahead and do that. We're going to put it on Viper real quick. Moncaster is located on the leading edge of this storm. I believe he's probably just a little bit north of Muskogee. Vaughn, what do you got?
Yeah, Alan. I've been trying to stay up with the leading edge of this, and as I was in Wagner, as it came through, the initial part of the storm, Alan, has winds of 50 to 60 miles an hour, but then a little bit behind that line, I got a measured gust at 80. So we're getting sustained winds for a sustained period of time between 50 and 70 miles an hour. And I tell you what, it's pushing a lot of people around. I haven't seen any semis yet that have been rolled over, but a lot of them have stopped, which is
on there as that continues to show more wind damage reports across the region. Temperatures have cooled because of the rain cooled air. We've dropped now down to the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Still hot to the south. Getting a lot of questions. When will this impact Henrietta? When will this impact McAllister? So let's take a look further to the south. You can see that McAllister right now is calm, but as we look closer along the Indian Nations Turnpike north into Henrietta, that heavy rain continues to impact your area over the next 15 to 30 minutes, and eventually we'll begin to wind down. Shakota, starting to see the heavier rain now move into your area, moving east along Interstate 40 and north towards Fort Gibson Lake. So again, our meteorologist watching this, Clint Boone, has the latest storm track on it with Max 2. Clint?
Yeah, I certainly do. For our friends down at McAllister, should be in your area about 149. Wilburton 209, Worcester 231, and then eventually to Fort Smith about 234. Again, the potential does exist for winds of about 60 to 70 miles per hour as
damage left behind. Some of the bigger trees are even blocking some of the roadways, so it's going to be tough for people to get through out here. I'd advise people to just stay home if they can.
Hey, Farron, thank you very much. And this is the kind of damage that we're seeing behind this storm as our reporters fan out to tell you the story of what damage this has caused in the metro area. I'm still looking right now at high-resolution Doppler radar data and moving right into Lake Fort Gibson, maybe just to the south of Sequoia State Park. Some of these velocity returns have just been incredibly strong just to the southwest of Sequoia State Park. I just noticed again, right in this area, we're picking up 100-mile-per-hour winds indicated by Fox 23 Doppler radar. Now, it's important to stress that these winds are not on the ground when we indicate them on Doppler radar. I can tell you exactly how high they are, though. And as we look at this, about 3,000 feet up, so that's going to be...
There's lots of branches and leaves everywhere, and the rain's still coming down, so visibility is still pretty low, and the streets are pretty slick. So good word to the wise to everyone on the roads today is just to take it slow and watch out for those power lines and trees that could be blocking any type of roads.
All right, thank you very much. That's Darcy Jackson's feed right there, and you can see the exit to 75, Tulsa and Glenpool So she is headed out west towards Sapulpa. That is Elite Storm Chaser Derek Massengale's feed. He is in Coweta, but now pushing eastward to chase these storms. And now they're starting to move into Shakota right now. And Oktahal and Muskogee is getting hit with the brunt of the storm presently. If we get our other Elite Storm Chaser, Denny Bryson, on the line, we can talk to Denny. He's in Shakota. He can probably give us a good idea.
Here, but again, this leading edge on the velocities I was just tracking for you. That's where the winds initially pick up, and then back behind in here, the winds just get steadily stronger and stronger, and that's what's been doing a lot of the damage. Let's go over to Mike now.
Okay, I want to bring up what we are seeing, an image now around the Creek Turnpike. We are seeing tree damage being picked up around that area. So this, once again, along the Creek Turnpike did cause some trees down, and they are reporting that this is once again being removed at this time. That is good news, but there are some issues as you drive about, so don't be surprised if you're about ready to head out in the metro area. You're probably going to run into some issues like this. Crews are out there rapidly putting that in place, and of course, numerous power outages as well. Jumping over to 3D2 really quickly as well, want to show you a few photos of damage that have occurred. This near 43rd and Sheridan, a very common place in front of the Sam's Club that floods. You have to avoid this. You got to turn around, don't drown. Want to show you our next image here, and you'll see that there are trampolines, things like this awning, it appears, that have been blown over as well. Next photo is going to show once again that house on the west side of Tulsa sustaining significant roof damage with 80-mile-per-hour winds likely blowing in some places like that. All right, we'll jump over once again. There's a Glenpool Middle School as well. The cafeteria there seeing part of its roof removed. But back to radar so you can keep up to date with the leading edge of the storm. We have a new path, and you can see it moving in towards Tahlequah here at 1:45. So we're about 10 minutes out, Tahlequah, from the heaviest of the storm starting to arrive.
Out and about watching this, and what is the kind of the status update from them right now?
Well, Mike, they've been giving us updates of several areas where they've seen very large trees that have been snapped in half, as well as some very impressive things that have been blown over. We saw a picture earlier from Justin Teague where there was a large trampoline that had been blown in the middle of the roadway. Also, several areas they're, of course, driving around trying to track these storms, and they have run into several areas where the power is out. So it's not just the wind, it's not just the rain, it's also the flooding. And be careful if you're going to be out on the roadway. You really no one should be out right now, but if you are going to be out, there's just several areas that do have power out as well.
All right, thank you so much. It's meteorologist Molly McCollum. You can see our first warning staff back here working. We've got Clint, Braden, and Molly all working in the weather office to help keep you safe at home as we track this line of severe weather moving across the area. Your pictures have been incredible, and we can't thank you enough. Keep sending those in. You can go to our KTUL News Facebook page, or you can tweet us at KTUL News as well, or any of the meteorologists here. Pick them and send them in. We'll get them all in one source. We like that.
The strongest winds sweeping east now into Cherokee County. Understand from the emergency manager in Cherokee County that the tornado sirens have sounded in Hulbert and in Tahlequah too. Let's see, there's another report as this stuff moved through the metro area. This was about an hour ago. Trees down at the Baptist Village and Retirement Center there in Owasso, on the east side of Owasso, too. So let's continue our team coverage. Meteorologist Michael Sager. And, Michael, this thing continues to push toward the east, and it is still powerful and dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is. We've been watching this as it really started getting its act together to the west of Tulsa, and has just continued to march its way to the east. And right now, we're at 1:37 in the afternoon. These storms first started firing up as early as about 10 or 11 o'clock this morning out to our north and west. Here's what we've got, though, kind of a quick overview. Here's the main line of storms with some of the strongest winds now tracking into parts of Cherokee County, but that line extends all the way back down Highway 69 to Shakota, now on your doorstep, Eufaula, and almost right along here, the Canadian River here, right along the McIntosh and Pittsburgh County line, and right around Lake Eufaula. So again, watching that line now soon to be moving here into parts of Pittsburgh County. Let's zoom in a little tighter, though. I do want to take you into where we're seeing some of the strongest winds here, and perhaps even some hail here. We've got that magenta shading. Would not be surprised if we're getting a little bit of hail here from Locust Grove south down to maybe near Peggs. And again, the leading edge of this is really quite powerful. Winds at times can be pushing up to about 80 to 90 miles per hour. Just very dangerous.
Even though we don't have a tornado warning, sometimes in these instances you will hear sirens sound when the winds can be as strong as a small tornado or even exceeding 85 to possibly 90 miles an hour. So severe thunderstorm warning till 2:15. That is Cherokee, Muskogee, Sequoia, and Wagner counties. And that includes the cities of Muskogee, Sallisaw, Tahlequah, and Wagner. Though the brunt of the storm, or at least the leading edge of the storm, looks like it's moved past Muskogee. So in Muskogee right now, you can see this is just heavy rainfall, likely some nickel-sized hail coming down. And then behind it, you'll also get some pretty steady 30-mile-an-hour winds. And there goes a bolt of, or a crash of thunder here at the station, and a bolt of lightning. So we might have just taken a quick power dip there. We're back on now. All right, so this is racing south and eastward, and there's Gore right on the outside of the severe thunderstorm warning. Actually, it's in, I guess, the second warning that has been issued out all the way out toward Westville and Stillwell and Sallisaw at this time. So in up here in Wagner, I mean, heavy rainfall, nickel-sized hail. It'll let up soon, probably in the next 10 to 20 minutes. Again, some rain. The lightning threat is not over. Muskogee still in tremendous amounts of lightning. Also heavy rainfall, hail all the way down towards Shakota. Still a wind threat east of Shakota over to Gore, over towards Stigler, Tahlequah, Park Hill, all the way out to
like that, you'd expect it to see a little more uniform, but in this case it's very, very ragged, but nonetheless it's still responsible for those very strong winds as it works its way on towards the east. So that's obviously going to be a concern. And then coming up, and next time around, we'll take a look further south. Let's go over to Alan for a minute.
Okay, Dick, thanks very much. We're going to take you to Warren Viper 3D. We're going to show you, Dick was talking about the southern track, so let's take part of this storm and we will drop that to the south and east. So again, that would be from basically Lake Eufaula, Blocker Bridge area, Crowder Point, Juniper Point, Shakota, Rentisville, back up to Muskogee. You see that area that I've kind of taken that portion of the storm, even though the individual cells moving east, is kind of dropping to the south and east, more than likely at about 50 miles per hour. That would put it at Weber's Falls pretty quickly. I mean, this is really cranking. It's moving fast. Sallisaw, 2 to 211. Worcester, 236, and Poto at 237. The southwestern portion of this line continues also to get a little stronger, and I'll explain what that means, especially now this area, which is just a little bit to the south and west of the Eufaula area. Notice now northern Pittsburgh County. You are now included also in this severe thunderstorm warning. You are now included for the potential for some of these storms to move across the northern portions of Pittsburgh County. Well, you had a rough roll early this morning between 3 and 4 o'clock in the same areas, it looked like.
Again, this is just the common reports that we're getting, and we're going to continue to get these to feed in as we track this line of storms that continues to make its way to the east. Going back to HD Max 8000, I've been watching Muskogee, and earlier we were telling you about the heavier core of winds and rain. We're lagging behind that leading edge. Well, they're moving in right now. So Creek Nation Casino Cam really showing the camera shaking around, the visibility really low. We're still on Muskogee, right, Clint?
Yeah, that's Muskogee.
Okay. And again, we'll go to that in just a minute. Creek Nation Casino Cam in Muskogee, and showing the heavy rainfall and the strong wind. So here comes the line again, moving still quite rapidly to the east-southeast, about, again, 35, 45 miles per hour. And give you a latest time tracker on that. That's going to take it in Tahlequah at 147, Stillwell at 213, Fort Smith at 248, Poto at 308, and Greenwood at 315. So this is actually going to move off in Arkansas over the next hour, and we'll be able to get to clear out some. But again, with the potential for significant wind damage and reports of
looking at some of the new data that has been coming in. And James, what are you seeing right now for perhaps some of these velocities as these storms continue to track their way off to the east and southeast?
Well, we've been looking at high-resolution Doppler radar data all afternoon, really helping us dissect these storms. And I've just looked. Now, we're about 2,000 feet up just to the southeast of Fort Gibson. I've really zoomed in here. Here's where Highway 10 comes in from Braggs. And just a few minutes ago, we did have data indicating 100-mile-per-hour winds. Remember, that's 2,000 feet up. That translates down at the ground, probably a little closer to 80-mile-per-hour winds. So it's still a very fierce storm, and as it moves into parts of Cherokee County, we'll definitely continue those warnings for mainly wind. We haven't received a whole lot of big hail reports. These storms are moving quickly enough where we haven't seen significant flooding. We have seen some pockets of flooding. Main Street in Henrietta apparently has water on top of it right now. The police there have blocked that road too. And
am I going to back over to Daniel and tonight for power outages?
Yeah, let's update you on some power outages we have here over in the Sapulpa area on the other side of the Arkansas River there. Coming up on about 12,000 now. That's been going up steadily for the past hour or so. But the real story, PSO reporting about 36,000 now out in the Tulsa County area. That number just keeps almost doubling here every 10 or 15 minutes here in the Tulsa County area. A lot of damage out there, though. Taking a look at this picture here that is just above us. Well, that's
that one's a downed tree.
From earlier, a little here in South Tulsa. That previous picture, though, was just south of the station here. That's in the Whole Foods parking lot at Midtown there. 41st and Peoria. Appears a privacy fence has been thrown into the parking lot and hit a few cars there. We also talked to Darcy Jackson, Tourist View reporter. She was on her way the last time we spoke to her just a few moments ago. She was on her way out to that overturned semi. And that is Darcy's live picture right there. Yeah, that's about mile marker 219 eastbound between Sapulpa and Kellyville. Do we have Darcy on the line? She is not on the line right now.
Just the live picture.
But they are there right now, so we have those crews there. You can see the crane trying to apparently pick up that semi that has been blown over. And then Brandon's been talking about some we have a house fire. That's in the Yorktown subdivision, 131st.
Near Peoria, yeah, 131st near Peoria. You can see in the top corner there's a house fire. Lots of reports of damage. 21st in Utica to the river. There's many traffic lights out, so if you're driving there, you should not be driving. We're hearing the roads are flooded, but please be careful. Trees across the roadways. The photo we showed you earlier was trees down near Edison in the Owen Park area. I'm sorry?
31st in Yale. Lights are out.
Traffic lights are out there.
31st and Yale. A lot of traffic lights out all over the Tulsa area right now. Had numerous reports of that so far. A lot of damage as far as an overturned mobile home that Brandon and John were talking about a little bit earlier. And then, as you can see, our last storm chaser there was talking about a lot of flooding on the roadways in the southern part of the viewing area. But I believe Muskogee, was that where he was?
We were hearing that cars were stopping under overpasses, and then cars were continuing to come, and there was...
Back to Alan.
Okay, again, the potential here along this and even behind the edge, behind the leading edge, is for some 80 to 90 mile per hour winds. So again, that's not just the leading edge, but it's even behind it in the rain, and it could be sustained for a significant amount of time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, between 60, 80, 90 mile per hour winds off and on. We still have the reports of those strong storms that are continuing to move to the east and the south and the east. Dave Davis, you've been working, we said a couple of minutes ago that we had a potential house fire in the southern Tulsa County area. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Alan, what we know right now, we have a crew on scene on the way. We don't have live video up quite yet, but we've gotten reports of a house fire, and this is, we understand this is live. This is not live video. This is not live video, but this is at 125th in Elm. We understand in the Wakefield neighborhood, that's near Jenks. Reports of a house fire there. Again, a crew is on scene. We have a crew on scene gathering details, but you can see significant damage to that home there at 125th and Elm. And let's go back to weather. And Alan,
all right, Dave,
and Mike, thanks.
Okay, we're going to give you this broad view. The counties that are highlighted in yellow, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are underway.
The city were hit first. First thing, wind gusts, they were substantial. Before I even got into the Midtown area, a tree was down at 28th and Court Street. By the time I made it to the mall area, numerous trees are down there, and most traffic lights and a lot of power outages. I would not be afraid to say thousands and thousands without power in the Muskogee area right now. In fact, I went from one end of the city to the other. I've got to find one traffic light that's working. You can expect lots of wind. The sirens have been fired here, probably due to the straight line winds and the strength of them. But power is out. Many people are just feeling disconnected and trying to figure out what's going on. There's been reports of what people have thought were tornadoes due to the amount of wind damage that's been reported. I have an unconfirmed report at Acme Engineering of damage there, but almost everyone that has communicated with me has had trees down of some sort, or they're without power in Muskogee, and the storm continues with heavy rain. And the winds have died down from what they were, but now a lot of the water standing in the roadways is just hindering the ability to be able to see anyway without any street lighting, et cetera.
Thank you, Cliff. Just an incredibly significant storm that moved through Muskogee. You heard him say that he would estimate maybe thousands are without power and some significant wind damage as well. So we're continuing to watch these storms move to the southeast. If we can get a radar update.
Yeah, new pictures continue just to pour in. Steve Allison from our viewers, and this is just helps our viewers see what is going on across the area. And Steve Allison, and look, this is even common scene in my neighborhood too, of trampolines being thrown around because of these strong winds. You know, and when you're dealing with 60, 70 miles per hour, those just become twigs, and those are thrown around very easily. Also getting reports of a lot of tree limbs in the pools. Of course, the summertime, you know, a lot of folks want to be swimming. Unfortunately, just today is not that day, as we are well aware. And a lot of folks are going to be without power, and unfortunately, they're going to be out without power at times, maybe a day or maybe even 2 days. But those crews, boy, do they work hard in getting those that electricity back up for you. So please rest assured that they are working hard, PSO, OG&E, to get the power back up for your area. We have new numbers to share with you, and let's see, this is the latest number coming in from PSO on power outages, the latest number coming in to our newsroom.
Of it. They